What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Demerious Nelson. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Yeah. I hope all is well out there, as always. Today, we're going to talk about conflict and how conflict can be good for you, especially if you're looking for change. Hey, this is Red Tape Podcast. Y'all stay tuned. Yo, what's up, guys? All right, let's get right to it today, man. This is the lightning round again. I like to do the 10-minute segments because it gives you something quick to look forward to. And you know, oh, God, I'm done listening to him. Thank you for what you said. I can move on. All right, today we're just going to talk about what's going on in my world. Now, I have family and friends that are currently working at General Motors. I know people that are in the auto industry, the transportation industry, and it's all tied together. So currently, you know what's going on. 48,000 people have went on strike plus at General Motors. So the people decide to unionize, and that's what I want y'all to remember here while I talk really quick is the people. The people decide to unionize to better strengthen and hold on to what they have. I know currently they want to get a raise. They haven't had a raise in a long time. They want to add more money to the profit sharing, and most importantly, they want to add to the health care. Now, I think General Motors is willing to give them the raise. I think they're willing to give them a little bit more bonus, but they want to make sure that they pay for their own health care now, a portion of it, which I understand from a company's perspective. It's all about the bottom line. It's all about the bottom line for both sides, really. But for the company especially, paying for all those people, employing all these individuals for the jobs, I mean, that's great. But also, if you can and you're working and you have the ability to work at a job, to have a job that is willing to pay for your health care completely, man, anybody in the world would want that. That's what we're fighting about right now. Think about it. That's the issue that's going on currently in the United States, in our political realm, in the political realm. We all want our health care to be cheaper. And I don't think it's necessarily about the health care. I think it's just more about the medicine. But yeah, health care too. But the medicine is what really pushes it to the limit. And we have to find better ways to do it. That's the great thing and the grand thing about capitalism. That's why a lot of times I don't agree with what the Democrats said. Yes, everybody should be covered, but we have to find a more effective way to cover every single person. And that doesn't mean take away my right to choose. We should never take somebody's right to choose. And that's the point I'm making here today. When you're in conflict, remember, you always have options. You always have options. For everybody that has unionized and decided to stand together, to stand up for what they believe in and against not necessarily the big corporation, which is the big corporation, but to stand together to keep what they have. That's a great thing about the union that we live in America. Each state is unique to itself. Each person is unique to itself. Each governing body is unique to itself. But together we stand strong, and we look to DC for just leadership. Speak and say something. That's important. And even in moments like this, you see these people unionize because they feel like it is important for them to keep what they have. Now, as I spoke about capitalism, the great thing about it is that if it does not work out in the way that they want it, they could always leave. Now, that's easy to say to somebody. I worked at General Motors before. I know how it is. It's tough work, hard labor. And you do a lot of things that, hey, it can be tough out there. And that line doesn't stop. So the only thing I have to say against General Motors is that you were bailed out before 2008. I'm sure y'all remember when the CEO at that time took a jet to meet with Congress, and told him, hey, come back when you're in something else. So it just made me think about if you were blessed enough and President Obama helped you get out of your situation, make sure you keep these individuals, the people that work for you, your employees, out of their situation. Now, for other companies that didn't take bailouts in that time, I get it. See, the government can be a fail-safe at times. I feel like some people say, hey, it was good to help them. It stimulated the economy. Other people say you should have let them fail and see what they could rebuild out of it. And I'm always a proponent of, if it's effective, let people fail because they learn from that. If you have kids, you let them fail because they learn from that. Now, in this situation, now the company's thriving. That was just a side note, just to remind everybody what happened. But now this company is thriving again, making money hand over fist, making $1 billion a year, $1 billion a month. I mean, it's just a lot of money. And you got 48,000 employees. I calculated the math. They still can give them raises, still pay for their health care, and get what they get. You know what I'm saying? Turn up the work. Do what you got to do. But I never knock a man for working. I never knock an individual for going out there to make his family have a better and greater legacy. It's not about the money. There's a lot of principles in working and hard work. Yes, the money is the outcome that we get, but it's about, you're getting up to work, going on time, doing it with integrity, being disciplined enough when you wake up on time to get there and do your job. Then you have to show restraint in situations like this and show resolve with your family, for your friends, for the people around you. Then you share in the community with them. So that's why I'm standing with them today. I have problems with unions sometimes, and just how they go about it, because at the top it's greed. And then sometimes the people who are in unions, they abuse it a lot of times, and that's not good. Just because you're in a union, you can say what you want to say. No, because there's principles you got to remember: discipline, integrity, working hard, and then you move up. Now, there's a few things General Motors could do to make their plant better. In my opinion, the best thing in business all the time is to be able to have progress. Just like this show. It's the Red Tape Podcast, but it's brought to you by 41 Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. I'm always conservative about the bottom line and the numbers, but in the business of making business, of doing business, of growing family, of growing friendships, you want to be able to have growth. People want to have a steady line of up and to the right, gradually. You don't have to be all just right away, but you want to have that gradual, progressive success up and to the right. Now, for me, it don't mean knock down the big corporations, because at one point this was a small business. So SBAs are still needed. Well, small businesses are still needed. And those associations to town, because not everybody want big business. But when you have an opportunity and you're on the level of a General Motors and your tagline and you're pushing family first, then you got to show that it's about family. And you would see the progress and the product that you get from people that you truly support. Now, there's always going to be people that abuse it. Look in your family. You do all you can. You love them the best way you can. And guess what you got to do? Remove yourself from it. Just what you got to do at the company. Sometimes you get them help, and you get them help always, even if you fire them, to show them, hey, look, this is why, this is what you can do to be better in the future. Now, in this situation, it is critical for them to unionize, because that's what the world's about: being a community, standing together, and standing for something. That's the great thing about America. You can't do this everywhere in the world. So to be able to exercise what you think is your right, and your right of free speech, your right to do this, all protests, as long as you're doing it safely, it's great. And I think they should continue to do that. And if I had to go out there to help, I will, because I have friends and family that I believe in, that I know are men of integrity and women of integrity that's living strong. And I was raised up in General Motors, and things that they've went through and the changes that they've gone through over my lifetime. So I support the people, but I also like the product. Now, I agree with President Trump. You want to shut the plant down in Mexico? Great. It bring more jobs here. And that's another thing the union wanted. They wanted the plant in Mexico shut down. And that's good if it's effective here. But if that means people getting more jobs in America, that's great. But that also means you have more immigration coming along. More people from the border want to come over. And guess what? They can, if they're going to do what they've been doing, working. That's what I like. I like good work. So just today, I just want to talk about in conflict. When you're in conflict with yourself, or the people around you that are in conflict or dealing with certain situations, you got to be there to stand with them. Look at the principles. And sometimes you have to always agree with the politicians. You don't have to always agree with your friends. The beautiful thing about all my friends is that we are all different. Nobody is the same. Nobody thinks the same. We have certain things like, oh man, yeah, I like that. We're on the same page. But everybody is uniquely different. Just like the union. Everybody is different at the union. A part of the union and part of the UAW are uniquely different. So that right now, currently, they're uniquely working together with a diverse group of people. Oh, I love family. So to see the community come together to stand up for what they believe, hopefully they do not crumble. Hopefully they're able to stand against big business in this moment to set a path, to set a course for the rest of the auto industry, for the rest of the transportation industry, so they can get raises. and they can get what they deserve. I mean, if you never worked in a factory, you never worked on an assembly line, it is tough work. It's fun. You meet some crazy people, meet some good people, but it's tough work. That blue collar work still exists. And the thing I want to say to the union brothers and sisters out there, what are you doing? What are you doing to better yourself in these moments? Are you going to educate yourself? Because one thing is true, these jobs are changing. You're getting more automation. So are you ready to adapt to those situations? Maybe you'll be retired and lucky enough before then, but still, even after retirement and you're navigating this world and you're going into different stores, there's still automated systems everywhere. So always continue to educate yourself. In times of conflict, like I said on Instagram today, is when you find your greatest growth. Your greatest strength is in conflict a lot of times. See, I'll make sure y'all remember that. In conflict, stand with those that you believe in, that you know believe in themselves and living in a way that align with what you believe. And in America, we all believe that everybody has a right to be paid. Now, if General Motors don't want to do it, then so be it. You go somewhere else. But if General Motors want to do it, that'd be great. I think it's good for an American company to show its resolve and its love for America, which means you got to love the people. You might not always agree with them, but you got to love the people. Let's negotiate. Oh, that's one of the greatest tactics in America, but where you don't have to go to war. It's like you can go to war, but you still got to sit down and talk to a man face to face, not on the computer, not FaceTiming, face to face, and let's get this thing done. That's the most beautiful thing about us, is that eventually we still got to sit down and talk to each other face to face. That's why you never want to lose that ability to use your interpersonal skills to work together. Oh, it's great for me. It should be great for y'all too, man. So if you know people that are dealing with this right now in this company and they decide, and I get it, they took the choice, they took the chance to make a difference for them, for their business, for the people of the future. And like I said, like I heard a man say to me, everybody want to save the world, but who wants to be crucified for it? Well, all I know is one for now. And he healed the whole earth, healed the whole world. But like I said, some of y'all are also willing to be crucified for it. And throughout history, you've seen those people who are flawed, raggedy, a lot of times in morality, but in that moment, they stood up. And for these people, it may cost them their job. It may cost the situation at the end, but they stood up. And that's so great. In conflict where you're still standing against the wind, the rain, the rocks, the debris, the tornadoes, all kind of weather, people spitting at you, talking about you, the media's all around you, and still you have the resolve to stand up because you have faith in yourself and confidence in the people that you with. That's how the Civil War was won. Excuse me. I'm still a little down with these allergies. I guess it's allergies. It's been a few days now, but that's what I want to talk to y'all about today. Standing up. People of resolve. In conflict, you find your greatest creativity. So what y'all gonna do with that? That's what I want to know. What do y'all plan on doing? How do you plan on helping? How do you plan on changing the landscape of America? How do you plan to change the landscape of your situation all around you? Well, it first start with having a strong mind to be able to hang in there when conflict comes. Now, one last thing I do have to say. When you know you're going to make stance like this and you're going to take a stance, make sure you're prepared. Make sure that your cellar, where all your food is stored, make sure you have something in there that is stored. Meaning, make sure you got some good savings. Don't just blow all your money. Try to live off of 30% of your salary. So when hard times come, people get sick, things happen, that you're prepared for it. You got to be prepared because changes are coming. And then when you try to make change, man, you're going to get all kind of attacks. It's going to be real tough. So just make sure, hopefully you got people willing to stand around you. Hopefully you really have that strong community that say, I'm ready to do this thing because I know it's time for something different. But anyway, guys, That's all I have to say today, man. I had to pause. It was too epic. It was too much to not just, just to keep talking through that. No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, as always, I'm your host Demerious Nelson. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Yeah. We're talking about moving, baby. Hey, when you're in conflict, stand strong. Especially if it makes sense. If it's for growth, if it's for change, if it's for something right for the people, the majority. Now, I have to make sure that I say this. Now, not all masses of people are doing good things, but if it's for the betterment of the nation, if it's for the betterment of the family, if it's for the betterment of all people, and you can see it projecting just the next 30 years that benefit all, then I'm a part of it. If it don't, then count me out. So I see this benefiting all. I know General Motors is scared of going bankrupt. I know a lot of companies are scared of going bankrupt, but that's what you got your CFOs for and other people to help you manage and get the right talent in there and the CEO to make this thing happen. To make this thing happen. So all right, guys, hey, y'all have a good one. I know I rambled on a little longer than 10 minutes of my lightning round, my elevator pitch. But just remember, y'all, just keep striving for excellence, man. That's all I have to say today. Peace.